Hello, friends. Welcome back to Aaron's Anxiety. I'm your host, Aaron, your personal guide through anxiety. Today, I want to talk about phobias, fears, triggers, things like that. So, when a phobia, I have problems with certain words, and uh, because English is like my thing, I love English. So, that being said, I don't like it when people say like homophobia um, because they're not necessarily just afraid of gay people. They just don't agree with what those people are doing. When you take like arachnophobia, somebody with real arachnophobia freaks out. I mean, uncontrollable seizing and all kinds of crazy stuff when they see a spider. Nobody's uncontrollably seizing when they see somebody who is gay. And if they do, that's weird. So, like, I don't know. I just have a problem with words. However, there are some fears that I think that can be managed, and I don't think that some things people should allow them to like control them. So the way that I tackle those things is I kind of do things a little bit head on. So as you can see from my shoulder here, this is Ike. This is a ball python. Um, she's wrapping herself around my arm now. Um, Ike came to me from a friend of mine who had passed away. She's named Ike because my friend got her when Hurricane Ike was doing its thing. So, however, it spawned my thought because uh, I'm really into reptiles and amphibians and turtles and tortoises and things like that. It's always been like a passion of mine. However, when I first started getting into it, my main thing is I love turtles and tortoises, mainly tortoises. I love land tortoises, and then I like lizards and stuff like that. At first, when I first started getting into this hobby, I was afraid of snakes. And it wasn't like a phobia, like I wouldn't freak out, like it was okay if like a snake was over there, or somebody's got one over there, it's cool. Like I would see them at reptile expos and things like that. However, I never wanted to touch them, and I never wanted to like put myself around there because they intimidated me. Um, and then after a few years of having a tortoises and stuff like that and lizards, I just got to the point where I was kind of like frustrated that there was something out there that was actually uh, not necessarily scaring me, but something that was making me nervous and I had a fear of. So how I ended up meeting my friend um, was through reptiles. It was through school, and we both like had an affinity for reptiles, and so when I started going over and hanging out with him, he had a ball python, which was his very first snake that he had. Um, Ball pythons make absolutely wonderful pets. They're so docile and chill, and they move super duper slow, and they're just incredibly friendly. Like you can see her cute little face. Yeah, cute little face. Yeah, she's cute. So she is super friendly and super docile, but she is a decent sized snake. You can see from, I mean, she's probably about 4 foot ish, I would say. Yeah, say she's a solid 4 foot, and she probably weighs somewhere like 5 pounds ish, 8 pounds ish, somewhere in there. So she's a decent. It's not like a corn snake. She's a decent sized snake. And so I told him at the time, I said, dude, I'm kind of afraid of snakes. He's like, really? We've been around snakes. I was like, yeah, we've been around them, but I don't know if you've noticed, I've never actually like held one or anything. And so he was like, oh, well, let me grab you the snake, man. I was like, I don't know. And so he ended up sitting there with me like a good friend, and he took out Ike, and I got to hold Ike. And once I held her for a while, at first I was a little nervous, but we ended up playing video games, and I held her for maybe like a half hour or so. And by the end of that half hour, I was like just kind of in the video game. She was like around my shoulders, and she was kind of just hanging out, watching us play video games. And after that, I wasn't like, it's not like a situation like, oh, I was hooked after that. No, like I had a like I've always had a respect for him, but I appreciated her more because once you like open yourself up to these little babies, um, they just kind of show you their little personalities and stuff like that. So with him passing away, I feel very very thankful that his family gave me Ike, because she was his last reptile that he had. So I'm very thankful to have her. However, I know this doesn't go into everybody's depersonalization and things like that. Not that it can't trigger you into it, because something, if you're really, have a fear of snakes, it can trigger you into that. However, the reason I'm making this video is because Ike got me thinking about how I address situations and how I tackle situations and what I do when I'm afraid of things. Um, when I'm afraid of things, usually I don't run from it, and that was when my anxiety really started. Is when I started running from things and started uh, avoidance behavior. That was like a big thing. So she actually has my thumb locked. Here, see my thumb. So that being said, friends, um, if you have something that you're afraid of, it's not a bad idea to kind of check that thing out and try to find ways to get yourself around those things. Exposure therapy almost. Because what I want you guys to do is the same thing that I want me to do. I don't want to have this phobia or fear for the rest of my life of something that I'm afraid of. So, yeah. So as far as this goes, little Ike here, I would say that's the best bet. And when it comes to triggers and things like that, say if your trigger is going outside or being in public, it's not a bad idea to actually go outside or be into public, but do it small. You know what I mean? If you're afraid to be in public, go get in front of a couple people. Or, you know what I mean? And then once you're comfortable in front of like your family, then go in front of a couple people you don't know. Go to Starbucks and just meet somebody and say, hey, how are you? I just want to say my name is blah, blah, blah. And kind of branch out that way. Slowly but surely get to the point where you can own your fear. So, I'm going to leave it here because Ike's wondering what we're doing, because we're usually up and walking around. So, but all right, friends, until next time, own your fear, guys. Don't let it control you. Don't get avoidance behavior going. Like, comment, subscribe. I love all the new subscribers. You guys are wonderful. I was thinking about making a list of just all the new subscribers that are out there. Just because you guys are kind of tagging in, and it's pretty awesome, and everybody seems to share their story with me, and I love it. Not everybody, but the people that do, I love it. I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear your guys' successes and your positives and stuff like that. So other than that, if you guys want to see more of these little guys, I can bring these guys out in my talks too. Usually I'm in my work truck, but just so happens I got done building, or got done structuring my tortoise enclosure. That was a lot of work. So, until next time, friends, I'm Aaron. You're awesome. See you in the next video. Say goodbye, Ike. Goodbye, Ike.